Okay, picture this. You wake up one morning in ancient Egypt, and your cat has died. Sad, right? But here's where it gets weird. You immediately grab a razor and shave off both of your eyebrows. Not just you, your entire family does the same thing. And if you think that's crazy, wait until you hear why they did this, because the reason will blow your mind. Let's travel back about 2,500 years to ancient Egypt. We're talking about one of the most advanced civilizations in human history. They built the pyramids, created incredible art, and developed complex religious systems. But among all their achievements, there was one thing they held more sacred than almost anything else: their cats. And I'm not talking about just loving them as pets. I'm talking about a level of cat obsession that would make today's crazy cat ladies look, well, normal. Now, this didn't start as some random cat worship. It actually began for a very practical reason. Picture ancient Egypt. You're living in the desert, and your survival depends on storing grain. But there's a problem. Rats and mice are constantly trying to eat your food stores. One bad infestation could mean starvation for your entire family. Enter the cats. These incredible hunters didn't just catch a few mice, they saved entire communities from famine. But here's where it gets interesting. The Egyptians didn't just say, "Thanks, cat," and move on. No, they looked at these amazing creatures and thought, these aren't just animals. These must be divine. They created an entire goddess around cats, Bastet. And slowly, cats transformed from helpful pets into living, breathing gods walking among humans. But even knowing all this, what they did when these gods died will shock you. Here's the moment you've been waiting for. According to Herodotus, that's an ancient Greek historian who actually visited Egypt, when a cat died of natural causes, something incredible happened. Every single person in that household would immediately shave off their eyebrows, not cut them short, not trim them, completely shave them off. Now, imagine trying to explain this to someone today. "Sorry, boss, I can't come to work looking normal because my cat died and I had to shave my eyebrows off." You'd probably get sent to HR. But in ancient Egypt, this wasn't optional. This wasn't some weird personal choice. This was a required religious ritual that everyone understood and respected. And here's the kicker. They had to keep them shaved until they grew back naturally. We're talking months of walking around eyebrowless, announcing to the world that your cat had died. But why eyebrows? I mean, they could have shaved their heads or worn special clothes or, I don't know, painted their faces blue. Why specifically the eyebrows? Well, here's the thing. Ancient Egyptians were obsessed with beauty, especially eye makeup. Their eyebrows were a crucial part of their appearance. They would carefully shape them, darken them with kohl, make them perfect. So by shaving off their eyebrows, they were making the ultimate sacrifice. They were saying, "I'm willing to look ridiculous and sacrifice my beauty to honor this sacred creature." But it was more than just appearances. This was a visible sign of mourning that you couldn't hide. You couldn't fake it. You couldn't half do it. Either your eyebrows were gone or they weren't. And the consequences of not doing this, oh, that's where things get really intense. Social ostracism was just the beginning. They believed that failing to properly mourn a cat would anger the goddess Bastet herself. We're talking divine punishment, bad luck, potentially ruining your entire family's future. So yeah, you shaved those eyebrows, and you did it immediately. But wait, it gets even crazier. The eyebrow thing? That was just the tip of the iceberg. Killing a cat, even accidentally, was punishable by death. Not exile, not a fine. Death. There's actually a recorded case of a Roman soldier who accidentally killed a cat, and an angry Egyptian mob literally lynched him. And this was during a time when Rome and Egypt were supposed to be allies. That's how seriously they took their cat protection laws. They mummified cats with the same care and expense as human royalty. Entire cemeteries were dedicated just to cat mummies. Some families would spend their life savings on elaborate cat funeral preparations. Cats had their own priests, their own temples. Some cats lived better than most humans. Archaeologists have found over 180,000 cat mummies in just one cemetery. 180,000! That's more mummified cats than most countries have living cats today. So what does all this tell us about ancient Egypt? This wasn't just about loving cats. This was about their entire understanding of life, death, and the divine. Cats represented protection, prosperity, and a connection to the gods. The eyebrow ritual shows us something fascinating about how ancient Egyptians thought. They believed that the physical world and spiritual world were completely connected. Your actions in life, even something as simple as how you mourned a cat, had real consequences for your soul. This was a civilization that understood that sometimes the most important things in life require real sacrifice. And they were willing to look ridiculous, to sacrifice their vanity, to show proper respect for what they believed was sacred. When you think about it like that, shaving your eyebrows doesn't seem quite so crazy anymore, does it? Now, before we judge ancient Egyptians too harshly, let's talk about today. We have a multi-billion-dollar pet industry. People spend thousands on pet medical treatments, pet insurance, pet therapists. Some people choose smaller apartments so they can afford their pets' expenses. Others won't move to certain cities because they can't bring their pets. We have pet cemeteries, pet cremation services, people who commission oil paintings of their deceased dogs. I've seen people get tattoos of their cats, wear lockets with their pets' ashes, and keep their dog's favorite toy for years after they die. Maybe the ancient Egyptians weren't so different from us after all. At least when our pets die, we don't have to shave our eyebrows. Yet. But honestly, after learning about how much ancient Egyptians loved their cats and the lengths they'd go to honor them, I kind of respect it. They didn't just say they loved their pets. They proved it, even when it was inconvenient, even when it made them look strange. There's something beautiful about that level of commitment, don't you think?